Hello and welcome to the Skull Rosary of Frorango conversation/commentary. My name is Jake Lloyd. I'm the writer, director, and co-star of the Skull Rosary, and with me we have Tony Wayne.
And I play Weston Garreau in the movie.
Brian Barrow.
And I was the director of photography for it.
And Kenneth Cooper.
And I was William English.
And so we're going to sit down, and this is not your granddaddy's commentary. All right, this is going to be more of a conversation. We're going to play the movie for you and watch it with you, but every now and then we might stop it and engage in our own personal opinions. And let's go ahead and give it a start and see how this goes. The Skull Rosary of Frorango, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's nice.
Talk real quick about my absolute favorite part of the beginning of this movie, and that is the overture, the score. We got to give credit to our incredible composer, Dan Martinez. Dan Martinez knocked this out of the park, giving every character and every nuance of this movie kind of its own theme and its own feel. And this whole animated opening was inspired by a conversation I had with him about all the different themes in the movie. And we decided to throw something together that kind of like tells the backstory and gives people a little bit more insight into the world we created, and all using his incredible score. He was very adamant on doing something different like this, because he told me that all of his recent projects have kind of all been in the same vein, and he enjoyed doing something that was a little bit more action-adventure-y in regards to like really big and over the top and excessive amounts of horns and trills and everything we can.
Jake did all the animation, by the way, and he's a self-taught animator.
Hence why it's not that great. But there we have it. There is the Skull Rosary of Frorango.
How long did you spend on that intro?
The intro, it was a lot of hours. I'd say it was about 2 weeks worth of full days worth of work. It was a full-time job, especially being like Tony said, I'm self-taught. I was kind of making it up as I was going along. But we panned over there. That was my favorite shot in the whole movie, of a little tiny Kenny, of a little kid Kenny. I had to imagine what Kenny looked like as a child.
You got it down.
It's just his head on a really tiny.
And actually, and what's great about this is if you look really closely here, Tony Wayne playing Weston Garreau. This is actually me. That is actually a photo I took of myself as a reference that I used to draw Tony. And I think I nailed his likeness off of my face pretty well, if I might say so.
Oh, I see that. I can see that.
And now we have our actual first frame of beautiful footage shot by Brian Barrow in the Verdugo Mountains in Burbank, New York. I mean, Burbank, California. Yeah, I know where I live.
We traveled a really long way to do this.
What did you do for that first shot, Brian Barrow? Do you remember?
I stood on a mountaintop like a mile away. An original plan was to like take fishing line and bow and arrow it like across the valley and get this like zip line shot coming in.
Yeah, we had a lot of cockamamie schemes that involved hanging cameras from places that we would never actually be able to physically do, but we were imaginative and we romanticized a lot of our abilities. But I still love the intro. Oh, also, like, if you look really closely here, I'm not sure if we passed it or not, but there's a boob in the movie. If you look really closely in the nudie mag, when they show him turning that first page, we have a boob in our movie. That's
I thought you said there's a boom in the movie.
That's
not something you want to tell
Boom too, yeah.
people.
No, there's a boob. There's a full-fledged fuzzy boob right in the beginning of this movie. But yeah, so we shot in the Verdugo Mountains, and it was like a 40-minute hike in and out every single day of shooting, which proved to be both problematic and very bond-forming, if I may say so. It made the shoot very entertaining, because we were all beat by the time we got out there, that we were all kind of like a little army with some sort of mission, some sort of purpose.
Yeah, everybody had several jobs. We all had to carry in equipment, and if you weren't on camera, you were holding a boom or holding a bounce or something. It definitely worked as a team. A small team took all of it.
I'm going to go ahead and pause this really quickly just because I want to show everybody this first shot of our city. Our city is designed by an incredible VFX compositor and matte painter by the name of Teague Christie, who's an extremely talented individual. And the city design is fantastic, and it was because of this design that I was able to kind of recreate the one we saw earlier in the opening that I had to kind of mock up cartoon style. But I just think that looks fantastic, and I love the style with it. And the fact that it's kind of like you can't really you can't pin where it is. Like, we've created our own city. We've created Castellania. We've created our own ethnicity of people that you never see. And what was great about that is that we were not confined to making anything look Mayan in nature or look Egyptian. Everything was kind of just whatever we wanted it to be, which is a great cheat when creating a universe.
It's nice, too, that all four of us are watching this. All four of us have not watched this together at the same time. Me, Jake, and Kenny have seen it because we went to the festival together.
Right. This is the first time that Brian is watching it with us.
So, yeah.
Brian.
Be alone and meditate or some crap.
Yeah, Tony Wayne, you really loved all these big, long monologues that I gave you, didn't you?
Yeah, this took several takes. I didn't have these lines the best down. It took me several times. I think we actually had to go back and reshoot this, though.
I think we shot this scene over 2 days.
Yeah.
I think the second time we shot it, I was much better
The reason
off.
we shot it is, if you notice, do you see how I just took the gloves off just then? That was the reshoot. Because on day 2, I wasn't wearing gloves. And we didn't want to cut from me wearing gloves to me not wearing gloves, remember? So we actually had to go back and reshoot this where I take off the gloves during that conversation.
That's movie making.
That's or that's just that's just being an idiot and forgetting to put your gloves on.
Right.
And I didn't have the gloves on, and this was the beginning of day 2. And we didn't realize it until after the fact. And I was like, oh, hey, guess what? We need to go and reshoot me taking gloves off. Which nobody would have noticed.
No,
Nobody would have noticed. No. Totally
I'm glad we did that 45-minute hike to get that shot now.
Yeah.
And Brian must just love all this natural lighting in here with all these spots of sunshine and stuff. It looks great.
The lighting would tell us a little about like shooting in the wilderness. How problematic was it versus just easy because you didn't have to worry
Well,
about anything?
we our lighting kit was one 5-in-1 reflector, and that was it.
I'm gonna pause this really quickly here. Continue.
And then our camera package was a 7D with one of the jankiest tripods I've ever used.
If not the jankiest tripod.
And then I made homemade camera equipment. I made a slider out of PVC
actually,
pipes.
let's throw a still of the slider up right now so people will be seeing this still. Pretend they're seeing the still right now. Yes, look, the slider. They're seeing it. Okay. And then there was also the...
and then we also made a handheld jib, which was basically just a giant PVC pole with a pulley on it that I used belts to attach to my body. And I think we used it once and went, this is awful.
Yeah, well, it was... Remember, didn't we use surgical tubing?
Yes.
To, like, use the... Yeah. But we still got one shot. Actually,
we did get one shot.
The shot was the reveal of the city that I paused on earlier, the very first time we see the city. You're actually using the jib to come from our feet up, and I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody...
Even though that's the only shot we got with it, we carried it in every single day.
Yeah. Hey,
Because you never knew.
do you want to know why? Because what did I always say, guys? It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
There you go.
Yeah, I was very fond of coming up with stupid sayings throughout the course of shooting this.
You have to draw a circle around it, Jake.
You don't have to draw a circle around it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, when you have actors that tend to draw circles around things, sometimes you have to tell them that they don't have to draw circles around things.
Gotcha.
Really quickly on screen, what you're seeing right now, this beautiful still, is an incredible actor and friend of ours, Bo Bowden, and also Nat Sanderson plays the other soldier, and he supplies a lot of voices of a lot of soldiers calling out in this movie. A lot of our soldiers are repeats. We only had about 4 or 5 of them in the whole movie.
I think both of them have boom op credits too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Both of them actually held boom. And here we hear for the first time the characters of Belisarius and Jericho. Look at this acting. Look at Tony's eyes. Oh, he
Intense.
is in it.
Smolder.
Yeah.
He is in it.
Oh, wait. He's listening?
You know who that is, don't you?
Yeah, it was fun playing
to the
Kelly
Smolder.
because I never had to shut up as Kelly, and that was really fun because it's really not a stretch for me. As you'll hear in the next.
This
however
is
long
actually
this
just a documentary about Jake.
Yeah, all of this fantastic ADR added after the fact because we realized that it wasn't as exciting as we needed. All these people calling in the trees. We got to give credit to a lot of people that came and helped out with that.
This Jake fell down a few times.
Yeah,
doing
if
this.
you're watching this on the DVD and or Blu-ray, go ahead and check out the outtakes reel in which you'll see me fall quite a bit. And also getting Tony's hat to fall on cue. That proved to be way more difficult than we
That
thought.
hat was such a diva.
That hat.
Yeah.
I'm glad we only had to deal
That
with
hat
it
was
for
one
like
of
the
most
first couple
difficult
days.
actors. Yeah. I love this shot, but we do get a lot of crap and flack, and I hang on to it, for just cropping on Mike Foster's junk here for a little bit longer than we might have should have.
That was
right
entirely
there.
intentional.
But we're following the hat. It's about the hat.
It's a little long.
And here we have Arlen Godthab, Corinne Costello, and Mike Foster playing Belisarius, Gwen, and Jericho, respectively.
How about
And
Mike's haircut?
I love his haircut. He came to set with that haircut on his own.
That's
Not
awesome.
I did not design that. I said, hey, yeah, cut your hair like you would like an 80s action star would. Or I said something like a Street Fighter, and he showed up with lines in the side of his head, and like a V in the back. I'm not sure if we have a good shot of the V in the back of his head. If I find a good shot of the V in the back of his head,
You should talk a little bit about this location here,
surely.
because there's a lot of history behind this location, this cave.
Go ahead and pause it right here.
Yeah. Now, wasn't this the original Bat Cave?
This was the
Yeah,
Bat
from the
Cave.
Adam West.
Yeah, this
Batman
was
series.
this was also in like every spaghetti western ever shot.
Bunch of early Star Treks and older Star Treks. It was
Yes.
in the new movie.
It was
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, this is called Bronson Caves. Actually, this was the only location, now that I'm thinking of it, that we got kicked out of one day. Do you remember? This is the only place we ever had to come back to because
True.
We had to come back to it 3 times.
really, well, only because of
Because we
the
went
shooting.
the one time and there was an actual production there.
Yeah.
Yes, they were
And then
shooting Chuck. They were shooting the last season.
Oh,
of
is that
Chuck
what it was?
there. Yes, which is another thing that's been shot there.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember because I saw it in Chuck on the last season, and I was like, "Oh, Chuck was the bastard."
Are
that
we in the
stole-"
background going, oh, come on,
Yeah,
let's-
exactly. That's right. So we went the first day, and then the second time we went there was literally a live band. Do you remember?
Oh, it was like a wedding or something.
It was
Oh,
a
yeah,
wedding,
yeah.
but it was a wedding rehearsal, and they had
right.
they had a full-fledged band
Oh,
out in the
man.
middle
Terrible.
of the Bronson Caves, and we're like, is this going to be good with audio? And so we shot. It's actually, I believe, it's a scene that's coming up where we're getting shot at by the sniper, and it's
Oh,
that
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Spoilers, by the way. If you're watching this without having watched the movie just on its own, first stop and watch the movie, and then come back to this exact spot. We'll give you a second. Okay, welcome back. Yeah. So that's when we went back, and there was literally a live band playing, and in all the
Yeah.
audio you can hear like a snare drum cocking the whole time.
This was the first time we went, and we had like a ton of props and extras and like prop guns, and we got away with it the whole day, and
you're
I
right.
couldn't believe
So
it.
we had to
had the
just
greatest
assume-
luck.
Yeah, we did have great luck that day, and especially because we had a lot of big burly guys that were playing the extra soldiers walking around that helped
Sure.
carrying all the gear, like Mike Fosh's friends. Oh my gosh, I feel so terrible. I can't remember his name. I'm going to put it on the screen because I'm going to ask him, and I'm going to put his name on the screen right here.
Yeah,
That's the guy who
I
came and
remember
was an
that
extra, and
guy,
we
too.
apologize-
I just
we
don't,
apologize for
remember
not
his name.
remembering his name.
And actually, in this scene too, I make
Oh,
a
that's
cross as a soldier.
The very
I'm dressed
beginning.
up as a soldier. You can't tell because I don't think you see
Wait,
my face.
No. In the very beginning, when he's walking with the hat, he walks past 2 soldiers, one of which is you, and then I believe
Maybe
right before the ending, right before the shot we're on, when Jericho walks away and says, "Come on, kids, let's go," whatever he says.
Yeah,
you
I
walk
do like
past
a
it.
cross, and I'm a
yeah,
soldier
Weston
in
Grow
this, yeah.
in disguise as the
Yeah.
sentry.
That's a subplot that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We'll,
what I
we'll save
was-
it for the prequel.
Yes.
Right.
Let's go ahead and continue this on here. Arlen Godthab, look at him just burning that hat with his eyeballs. That hat represents everything he hates. And beautiful score again. God, I'm going to compliment the score so many times in this movie. And this was the official Bronson Caves success day that we had to come
Yeah.
back 3 times to get. Yeah, it was a way trickier shot to get me to walk down that hill without falling, from what I remember. Remember how many times I couldn't, like, we had to walk at a good pace, we couldn't go too fast.
Yeah.
And also, if you pay attention all the way to the far left, you'll see a garbage can in one of these shots where the trail leads. We try to make it look like it's this distant area where nobody goes to, but there's clearly clearly tire marks on the ground and a garbage can somewhere. I may have tried to crop it out
Betting on horses
unsuccessfully.
and going to baseball games, collecting stamps, even whittling maybe.
Wait, stop.
Yeah, a lot of those are actually Tony's hobbies. People don't know that. Tony's big on whittling.
right.
Beautiful shot of this. Again, I can't remember who. Wait, Brian, you and I collectively did that shot. And then there's, of course, The City, once again, by Teague Christie. But that really cool, like, make it look like old binoculars effect. That we ended up doing accidentally. Remember, during color correction, we didn't intend on having that cool kind of dissipated color. But then
Oh,
we
yeah,
came
yeah.
across it accidentally. Like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Now this guy who's playing the sniper.
Richard Fowler is a friend to many an independent filmmaker here in Los Angeles, and we owe a lot to him. He came out many days and played many different soldiers for nothing, just because he enjoyed it and because he loves us very much, and we love him for it.
And it seemed like he did some crew things too on set, while we were on set.
I
didn't
think he would
probably
boom
some
up.
boom.
I think he boomed up once or twice. Yeah.
I think sound department is probably the longest block of credits.
And
ever.
it includes a tree. If you watch the credits carefully, it includes a tree.
Rosary of Fro Rango.
It's the name of the movie. I said the name of the movie in the movie, guys.
We should have had you look directly in the camera.
I should
on
have.
that.
And our
Was
sniper
that-
shot.
Was that a bullet? that
Yeah.
went through?
Did you never notice
I
it?
never noticed that before.
Visual effects
Oh.
by yours truly.
What, never been shot at by a sniper before?
I hate the delivery of this line.
What the hell are we supposed to do?
What are we supposed to do? Oh my God! Could I be any less tough?
Well, that ended quickly.
Always a laugh. Always a
no,
laugh. I love it. How do you not? How do you not love it?
Shoot him, he's a sniper.
Yeah. If there's any indication that I am not tough, it is this scene, and how little I had to act, because that is pretty much just me panicking. Although, very entertaining to be doing this and playing with nothing while people were walking around Bronson Caves watching me, going like, "It's a sniper! It's a sniper!"
Just looking at these man children just
Yeah.
playing.
Tony throws the rock for the test.
I got him that time. I actually got him. Did you see that? Oh, I gotta be honest.
Kelly's a little brave, standing up so quickly, if I might say. So he showed some
Brave or stupid, you know.
Yeah,
either one.
brave or stupid.
We were
He showed
both
some
dead.
gall.
That's it. I'm done.
Come on, I was just kidding. I knew it would work. I mean, bouncing a bullet off a rock 200 yards
Great
away.
delivery.
Piece of cake.
By the way, our fifth companion here is Cosmo, the
Yes.
dog.
I need
Cosmo, my dog, joining us here.
I think he's got a boom op credit too, doesn't he?
Probably. Oh, there's me. Hey, there's me dressed as a soldier.
Gwendolyn, don't worry. We're almost to the city. We'll have it soon enough.
That's the thing. Weston wasn't headed towards the city.
Is this a shot with the lighting? That was so cool.
Yeah.
I really like this on
yeah.
her face here.
This was. We lucked into a perfect time of day. Actually, I shouldn't say that. We location scouted a lot for this movie.
True.
And we really like we had the entire mountain trail mapped out with different locations, and then like I remember specifically writing time of days that we needed to be there. But at the end of the day, people's schedules versus how long it took us to shoot came into play. But we definitely, we definitely had some really like that. That's a beautiful shot. And this whole scene is really well acted by both of these incredible actors, and the score once again, Dan Martinez. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. That it's one of our only real like
Set off to find the rosary.
two people just talking and not moving, not going anywhere. There's not a lot of motion. It's just this is like our indiest scene in the movie of two people having a conversation, and I really like it. I think it works really well, and I think Arlen's performance is great. And let's talk about just Arlen's look for a second. How fantastic!
Oh, you can see her in his eyeglasses.
how
a
beautiful.
reflection.
Never noticed
Look at
that.
that shot right there.
That was
that was
entirely
one of my
intentional.
favorite
Yeah,
shots right there.
but yeah, Arlen.
Just the one eye being revealed as sunlight.
Arlen's got such a great look, and the clear glasses, which were his own glasses that he brought to set. Actually, the whole wardrobe is his. He just walks around like that, I assume, in public, and fancies himself a treasure hunter. But the white collar on the blue shirt, I mean, how perfect for Belisarius.
There's something else all on the trail. That
And here, this is the first scene in the movie where we start to learn that, maybe things aren't what we as the viewer see. Maybe Weston is maybe a liar. We start learning about multiple different versions of the history of these characters. Maybe
Is he a liar, Jake?
I don't know. Time will tell.
Make sure that your opponent is
We never really find out, to be perfectly honest with you. Actually, yeah, we do.
Do we?
We pretty definitively find out towards the end of the movie. But I digress.
All right, let's go.
Again, I mean, just fantastic locations that we got by stealing them. The ant shot. There's our wildlife shot. That's that's all the wildlife in the movie. Tony wanted a snake.
I
in this
always
movie.
wanted a snake, but
bad.
we just couldn't get hold of a boa constrictor or a python or anything that would really
And
work.
one day we were on set for this day, and I remember was
were
it
at-
Brian that came across the ants and we're like, guys,
Yeah.
look, there's a bunch of ants on a leaf.
we were attacked by them, so we decided to put them in the
That's right.
movie.
Oh, and you know what? This was
I love
our
this shot with the skeletons.
Oh,
Yeah,
skeletons!
that's
We have to
nice.
give a big thank you to Kevin from rentacorpse.com for hooking us up with this fantastic skeleton. Make sure you check out rentacorpse.com for all of your corpse renting needs. Cheap plug. What was I saying? Oh yeah. The we tried to make the ants make sense because the scene directly before it is them marching away, and it was like it's like the ants marching, and then we see ants actually marching.
Really?
And we tried to make sense of it. Yeah,
Symbolism.
yeah.
Symbolism.
Maybe it was polar bears like in that show Lost. Did you ever watch that?
I got to
I
throw
just-
a
I
Lost
just like
reference in
ants.
a movie in 2012 and 13. And this people are confused by this, but I must say there's a lot of thought put into this stupid system of each tone, each symbol he sees on a rock responds to a different tone provided by these tuning forks. And when struck him with the right tone, that specific key is activated.
Yeah.
And I meticulously drew out all of those stupid symbols in that book. Oh man, that took way more time than I should have put into it. And the glowing effect, I have to give a big thank you again. I'm going to be naming a lot of visual effects artists here, to Felipe Scaldini, who is a member of the Three Principles family, is a director of photography in his own right from Brazil. He helped me a lot with that glowing shot, and I really love the way that looks. This whole scene just looks beautiful. We really, I mean, shooting in that deep wood area of California just doesn't look like California, and it provides this nice even tone that the movie has, which I absolutely love. I made a point too. It was my only little actory thing in this movie. I wanted Kelly to be constantly cleaning his hands. I'm not sure if you pick up on that, but watch how many times in this movie I wipe my hands. I'm constantly cleaning them. And once the gloves came off, I figured like that's gonna be my thing. I'm gonna be always be. That's why he was wearing the gloves.
That's it. The gloves are coming off. I'm wiping my hands.
And yes, of course. What innocence! And then the reveal. There he is. It only took us 6 takes to get both of those guns in that holster, right, Kenny Cooper?
It was kind of hard. It was kind of hard.
Is that shot actually in reverse?
No. Is it?
So I think it's
Did we
easier
do
to
that?
pull them out than to actually get them back in.
Oh my goodness! I think you're right.
It's a lot.
I think you're right.
You're right. Yeah,
I think we ended up.
I think we did actually.
Oh, the women swoon.
Been a while, Wes.
Oh, I love this. Look at this.
That look.
Oh, look at that
That's
look.
acting. That's acting.
Tony.
I know this guy.
Oh, there's our jib. I think that was a little bit of jib right there.
William, all grown up and legit.
All grown up and legit.
What are you doing here?
Saving your ass.
And another one of my favorite deliveries of Tony with the
Well, I guess I owe you one.
marksmanship line. One of my favorite lines in the movie, and Tony's delivery of it is just absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait a minute. I nailed that guy with carefully calculated marksmanship.
This shot right here. It's happened so fast. The wide shot. That shot, Brian Barrow had to climb on arguably the sketchiest part of the entire shoot. And all for that one shot that we used for just seconds in the movie. But it's such that adds so much to the scene because it looks like an onlooker in the woods. But you had to climb on the set of like, I want to argue like, okay, I just paused there for obvious reasons, but we're going to go ahead and talk about this for a second. Hang on a second.
That's perfect.
Hang on a
That's
second.
perfect.
Let's talk about this really quickly. You know, it literally there's a rock structure directly where we were below when we were talking about the lost thing. We saw the skeleton. What you see of that giant cliff that we're standing next to, there's a foot wide path at the top of that before another steep cliff. Brian climbed all the way up the side of that little foot long path, and I think we have a photo of you like off in the distance, and it almost looks like you're hiding from people because you're just covered in brush. I'm gonna see if I can find it and put it here. If not, you're not seeing anything. There was a lot of dangerous situations that we put you in.
I think it was also like sitting in a pile of ants at the time. Like, okay, let's get the shot pretty quick.
Yeah, those
let's get going on this.
the ants from the previous scene. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember looking across too at Brian as he was kind of finding his way into his final little spot to where he was going to shoot, and he was on such a narrow little ledge. I just remember thinking, This doesn't seem safe. This doesn't seem safe at all.
Tony said this doesn't seem safe many times during the making of this. Now let's talk a second about what we're seeing on the screen right now. Let's bring this back up. That is
obviously Kenny isn't really watching for Jake's safety, but he's really looking at his muscle being flexed. What a great.
You guys want to know the real story behind this? You want to know the real story behind this? And now that you pause it, we can see clearly this story makes sense. Jake is basically copying a fill on my arm right there. If you could tell, he's squeezing down. And I'm like, who is that?
Really?
my muscle right now.
Really?
And I'm like,
really?
what?
That's what you think?
Okay,
That's what you think?
Okay, Jake, you're taking advantage.
A guy who got shot in the leg
You're taking
and
advantage
can't
of stuff.
stand. He needs to grab on hard to something. It's not my problem. You have beautiful, beautiful arms. Let's just say, too, 7 takes we have of this. There are 7 takes of this. In every single take, Kenny looks at his arm. He did not give us one clean take to use. I was like, oh, can't use that one. Kenny's looking at his muscles. Oh, can't use that one. Kenny's looking at his muscles. Until finally I realized the only option was to have a take in which Kenny is looking at his muscles.
Yeah. Honestly, I was actually looking down. I didn't want him to fall. There's something right there.
Really?
There's a creek right there.
Let's talk a little bit about, tell us about the push-ups.
All the push-ups in between takes paid off for Kenny.
Thank you. Thank you. Forgive me for being the only person on set besides Mike that worked out, guys. Forgive me, okay?
Hey, we all got to work out.
All
We
right.
lost a lot of weight making this movie.
Yes. It was like,
That was
oh.
our workout.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's continue behind this ridiculously of this guy looking at his own muscles on
Thank
my
you.
movie. Oh, there it is.
And then I looked at yours, and it was like, oh, not the same. Not the same thing.
Oh, look at that athleticism.
There it is. And that, too. It was kind of like
Great.
a limbo
This is
thing.
good.
Like, yeah.
This is another one of my favorite moments here.
You okay with this?
Guess I don't have a
Just
choice.
because of the sheer amount of danger of me pointing this loaded gun at him. It takes him a while before he decides to, like, there. That was like 3 whole seconds of me pointing a gun at you before you realize, let's
It
not
was.
point that at me.
It was, yeah.
I love this shot.
Oh, the boot shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this, you know,
Soldiers coming across.
not to, oh, that was me really falling, by the way. Here's Andrew Blood, fantastic actor who played a lot of our soldiers, catching an actual elbow to the cheek at one point during a rehearsal, if I'm not mistaken.
And there's Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas. And then, of course, here we have Jalali Rezkala. I believe I'm pronouncing his name wrong. He's like an expert in judo and really helped out with this. Boom, putting the,
And look how Kenny takes him out.
putting the
anyways.
no lock on. A lot of this action sequence stuff was actually shot kind of without a plan. We really went out there one day and we just did a whole day of just action stuff. We were like, all right, well, let's find little moments that we can seam together here. You know, and we were able to kind of create this really fun little action scene, which I really enjoy. I'm proud of this.
Except
considering
for
that-
Andrew Blood, though. Remember, he stepped in that
remember that
day.
gun.
Like we did a
Oh.
choreography the next day, and the guy that was supposed to play the part with it, take the elbow,
you're not wrong.
didn't show up.
You're not wrong.
So
That's
Andrew Blood
right.
learned that right there on the set.
That's right. Andrew Blood knocked out the choreography the day of. I forgot about that because somebody no showed on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Andy, we can't thank you enough. There he is. There he is without a mask.
Oh, it's good. Very good. Very good.
Right. And then this is him again attacking. We gave him all the best spot. That's him again.
Oh, that was Mario.
No. Mario is this guy.
Oh, Mario's the other guy, right?
No, I'm sorry. That was Mario. This
that
is
was Mario?
Andrew.
Oh, this is Andrew.
This is
Okay.
Andrew. You're right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another great thing. When you don't have as many actors
might-
to play your bad guys, put them in masks and hats. And that's a good cheat that we use. Also, just a quick note, the inspiration for these characters, I'm not sure if anybody out there has recognized, but I blatantly stole the design for all of the mercenaries from Metal Gear Solid 4.
And actually, we
Boom.
filmed this,
Okay, that-
I
we
think,
gotta
in
pause
October. And I went to a Halloween party at the end of October and stole all the wardrobe.
That's
and I
right.
went as an
You went
henchman
as-
from
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, what we just
Wow.
saw there was fantastic. That was the gun throw, and Richard Fowler, once again, we're going to bring his name up a lot. He caught that gun in the leg, he caught it in the shoulder, he caught it once in the junk, if I'm not mistaken. And so we eventually got that fantastic shot of it bouncing off of his gun.
Yeah, and I felt so bad about that. And I was so what's the word? I was trying so hard not to hit him in the head or hit him in the junk, and I was a ways away. So you knew with that gun, it was going to sting either way. And yeah, that was a real trooper in there. But
Tony was always really afraid of hurting people on set, and I was the exact opposite. If you watch the outtakes reel, it's me quoted. I believe telling Dave Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, go ahead and fall. It won't hurt, and if it does, I don't give a shit. So that's how I direct a movie, apparently.
Yeah, but that was great. That was a fun moment. I mean, I'm glad we did it because it was such a funny, original bit with me running out of bullets and picking up a gun that's out of bullets and throwing it to save Jake's life.
Oh, well, and let's mention that you could have fired the gun. There's no reason Weston couldn't have fired that gun. But it's not his gun. Weston doesn't fire a gun that's not his. That's not his style.
Oh, see, I always thought it was because it was out of bullets.
No, your gun was out of bullets. That was the guy who attacked you's gun. You could have just shot it. No.
Oh.
Quick thought. Weston
Yeah.
Groth throws guns.
We should reshoot that.
Oh. And then you find your own gun, which has bullets, and one of the most cold, heartless moments in the whole movie. Just mean. That's just mean-spirited. That is probably the most worst thing you could do just in the whole movie. Like,
ridiculous? Am I the only one?
I love the colors in the shot.
Come on, you're not.
Oh, by the way, Brian Barrow did the color on the movie, which we didn't really talk about. Our very own Brian Barrow did all the coloring, and it looks fantastic. And then we have the birds. Ryan Weber, Emmy Award-winning visual effects artist, helped us out with that bird shot. And there he is.
Man, does Mr. Belisarius really hate you?
What a monster. You know, my biggest regret about in this entire movie is never shooting a scene in which Mike stands directly next to any one of us, because Mike is a monster.
Yeah.
He is so incredibly tall, and then there's the gun. Gun VFX done by Corey Drake, another very talented VFX artist. That is a pretty big gun, Tony.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that line.
And Jake made that whole gun, and it was big, and we had to carry it in and out on the hike in and out of that location, 45 minutes each way.
We actually sprayed it. We painted that gun on location because I didn't want to scuff up the paint on the hike up. Remember, we had to assemble it. We had to assemble it and paint it on location. And of course, we just glossed over here. Poor Jericho's demise. When you have a big gun and you're amped for a fight, what do? You slip on a rock. And there's foreshadowing. Early in the movie, you say, hey, Kay, be careful. Those rocks are slippery.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And, of course, the bumbling idiot can't help but touch it.
It's hot, too. I saw that. I saw that effect.
Yeah. Corey Drake did a great job. Another one of these beautiful establishing shots. Just to show that we were actually there. Totally unnecessary for the most part. But, like, hey, look at the area we're in. And now let's act. Everybody tells me this is a little over the top. I think it's the exact amount of top. And don't shoot your junk off.
Yeah, that hike, it was always tough, that hike going in, but once we were in there, I just loved being out there. Yeah. Just loved it.
For the record, I want to say the hike was pretty easy, but it's different levels of fitness for everybody, guys.
It was pretty much all uphill going in. At least going back, it was almost all downhill.
So West was a part of it. Well, there were little
ups and
spurts.
downs.
But you're not wrong. Yeah. Which I suppose probably made it a little bit easier on everybody getting out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But our days were also not very long. Like we were pretty conservative.
Well, we could only shoot as long as we had the sun.
Exactly, and because we were so deep, the sun was so much shorter. Like our sunset was at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, because then go behind the mountains. And
exactly. Once the sun was gone, this whole area was pitch black.
Oh, never mind. I think that was my last night. I wanted to point out something in this scene. I have this pimple that looks like a mole above my lips, and I just want to tell you guys how clear the air is in Castlevania, because in 2 seconds it's not going to be there anymore.
That's great. Yeah, I have a lot of acne in this movie that disappears.
Yeah, it's the air. It's the air.
Then the rusty truck. This rusty truck, I can honestly say, nearly inspired the entire movie. Let's just state, too, this is a hike that Tony and I have done previously. Kenny and I did. I'm not sure if we did it before we started talking about the movie, but I know that we've gone out there a couple times. Yeah. And finding this truck, this is actually out there. This is in the middle of the Verdugo Mountains, just sitting there. Mm-hmm. And it's like an old, like, 50s, late 50s. Like, it's an old truck. I don't know how it got there. And that's kind of what inspired the entire movie. Like, oh, let's write this movie about an action adventure, and they could find this truck. And then it grew and grew and grew based on all the other cool locations we found, like the waterfall at the end of the movie and the fall earlier that we had to climb over. And then, came up with this great little backstory about, Howard Hughes, which people like totally buy. Like, yeah, you know what? That's a total thing.
He did that.
Sounds good. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, and there was that other truck or that Jeep in the opening shot,
scene,
too. Yeah, and we don't know how it got there at all. Yeah. In fact, now I remember that I think it was... I had been on this hike several times, and I had taken Jake on a hike on that hike. On the other side there, and he instantly was inspired and went home and started writing the script, or maybe wrote the whole script that night. I don't remember. But
I think I wrote like the whole outline.
He wrote, yeah. And so location, like how much this location inspired us, or inspired Jake to
Let's
write
just talk really quickly here. Let's just let this scene.
All he cares about is a rosary. Everything and everyone else is disposable. And let's face it, man. You're not the Lone Ranger you used to be.
It's where this stupid little action adventure movie really shows a little bit of heart and
and
nice
and a little throw a little bit of comedy in there, but it's real and
I'm just worried you'll end up like Dad.
What these two guys feel for each other is pretty legit, and Weston is really a stubborn old man, but despite that,
I appreciate your concern.
William looks up to him, and he's family.
The only opinion I need from you right now.
Yeah, I remember when I first read the script, too, this was one of my favorite scenes, and then when we were rehearsing it the night before...
Yeah, it came to life.
Yeah.
Find this thing.
This was...
Take your share once it sells.
There's like Nathan Fillion once said about a lot of times when you're acting, you're walking and moving and picking things up and whatever. But then there's moments when you really believe you're the character, and this is one of those moments in the movie.
Yeah, where you were really in it.
That I really believed I was Weston Grow,
and I love that shot, the walkway shot with us blurry in the background and kind of William the hero shot of. Despite the fact that he knows he's lived his whole life knowing this man, he knows he's not going to change his mind. Mm-hmm. So the only thing he can do at this point is protect him. I'm gonna on a different note. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this really quickly because I just want to explain this scene for a second here. What you're seeing in this scene is Kelly, who's injured, getting his wounds tended to him by Weston. And for the first time, Weston is like showing a bit of care because he realizes, based on what we just saw, that William's not happy. And that maybe, despite that he's being stubborn, Weston is starting to see that this isn't good. He's got this poor kid shot in the leg. And for the first time in the movie, Weston is showing that he's not necessarily as cold and as heartless. And that's what's happening in the movie. What's happening in real life is I'm in the middle of the wilderness next to a bike trail with my pants around my knees while actor Tony Wayne is bending over with his face essentially in my crotch. And there were more than one occasion...
With someone filming all this.
Yes, and there was more than one occasion where a bicyclist we would hear in the woods coming, like, oh, crap. And it would be that moment of, like, we are not... I promise you, we're not making a creepy porn in the wilderness. Start this back up. Yeah.
You doing all right?
And there's another really great outtake line of Tony's doing again. Check out the outtake reel.
Sorry.
Although if you do watch this scene backwards, it is a creepy porn in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
We made a point not to shoot the pants, which was a bad idea. We should have shot me with the thing around my leg to reveal what was happening. We didn't really show what was happening well enough. I think that's why people are a little confused. Oh, I love it. I love the look. Corinne knocked us out of the park.
And I just love the writing of this too. Just me getting my ass kicked by a girl.
And refusing
Supposed to be this sort of tough older treasure hunter, and I got a gun and everything, and this girl's just kicking the shit out of me.
Well, you essentially were there for this girl's entire life. You watched her grow up, and you're not going to inflict damage, and you have a moment of weakness there where you feel like you're going to hit her, but it's immediately dwindled with fear that you might actually hurt this poor girl because your self-defense instincts kick in.
I told you it was an accident.
And unfortunately, this scene was actually longer at first, this longer fight scene, but due to light leaving, like we were talking about earlier, we actually had to cut a little bit of the ending of it, and I'm really bummed out about that because the performances were great, the fight was great, but it got cut down a little bit because of the light. Remember, because we lost all that really beautiful light.
Oh, yeah.
And it just didn't match because it happened so fast that we went from this nice, beautiful vivid light to literally being pitch black outside.
I just realized that William, my character, shot that dart through a tree too.
No, you had.
He's that good. Yeah,
you had. Yeah, you had a. Yeah, you had.
That was a great reveal too. That was a great reveal.
This is a train. She'll be fine. I'm sorry, man.
And this is, of course, now where we start to put all the pieces together that they're actually siblings, and that, of course, she is adopted by Coy English, which is William English's father, and former member of Le Traverse. So kind of all the pieces all get put together in this scene. I feel like all of the little puzzles all finally come together in this moment, if people haven't put it together for themselves. Because for a while there, people were like, wait a minute, he said sister, he said your father, and people were always a little confused at the beginning of the movie. And I'm always like, just relax, watch it.
It's coming together.
Cool.
All right. I'll be seeing you.
And you know what? We have to give Corinne credit for the makeup. Corinne did your Bruce makeup that day on set. Another example of everybody having multiple jobs.
Yeah, I think a few people did.
Well,
I think
she taught me how to do it.
She did the original one.
Yeah,
yep,
she taught me how to do it.
Yep. And this, of course, is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Just the montage.
Yeah.
Although it's missing a snake, it's still good.
And again, got to give credit to Dan Martinez for the score during this. Not only did he knock it out of the park, but he used. There's me again in the back. Me and Bo again walking around. The second we had to put this in there one more time to explain to people that there's more than one key. Again, that glow effect, loved it. Look how long my hair gets immediately. We're both kind of a little scrappy. This was like one of the last things we shot, the montage, and my hair is significantly longer than it was for the rest of the movie. That's right. We're not going to talk about that. But yeah, this is actually.
Yeah, because how long did it take us? What was that? 26 days.
Oh, I think it was 26 days of shooting, scattered over the course of like a month and a half, maybe.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But
so our hair grew a little longer.
Yeah, really quickly, just get to that. This was actually temp scored with a Blue Man Group score, a Blue Man Group song, and you can kind of hear it still kind of has a little bit of Blue Man Group feel to it because that was what I used to score a lot of the movie. Was Blue Man Group's rock music. Yeah. And one of the most beautiful shots in the entire movie, in my opinion. Beautifully colored. Just vivid. Makes it look very outer worldly in a sense. We finally find the secret chamber.
Tell them about the door.
Oh, yeah, the door. That's actually... the door there is literally just that. It's it's a bunch of pieces of fencing with cork. Like, not cork. What do you call it? Caulk. That I literally just spray painted and then shaved to look like rocks. So we literally had to bring that door down in pieces and then assemble it and just lean it up against the rocks. There's nothing there. It's just rocks.
A lot of people always think it's a real door.
Yeah, there's that's literally just sitting there.
Now there's our buddy from England. He's back in England, one of the soldiers.
Yes, we have a lot more
Ryan's
extras.
in here.
Brian Lynch, a really great guy, the bald guy who has one of my favorite deliveries, the "Where are you going" line. Then also we have Dave Thomas in there again, and then I think Andrew Blood is the guy with the submachine gun who goes to check it out.
And something I always thought was great is Arlen. He takes that rag out of his pocket and wipes the brim of his hat.
Oh my God!
Like that's just something.
And it was totally spur of the moment.
Yeah. That's
totally.
man.
Like, he just was like, "I have this idea. I'm going to take my hat off and clean it." I'm like, and it's great because we needed him to have the hat off during that line, the "I killed Cole," which is so important because I wanted to really see the intensity in his eyes. I wanted to see that he's finally like, I'm finally saying what I've done for the first time out loud.
It made me sick.
And I just love this whole scene.
This is a part I was really into too. I really fell into this part and just lost that I was Tony. I was just Weston Garreau in here. And then this guy just became my moral
And there it
enemy.
is. There is the Skull Rosary Fur and Go. A little glow, a little supernatural. Show you that it's a little bit more than Earth is known.
It's truly remarkable.
Oh, the Rosary too. That was a nightmare. The Rosary fell apart on set. Remember?
Oh,
he had
yeah.
to hold it. He had to hold a bunch of like jewels and rocks in his hand, as if it was all together in one piece. And that was just the Rosary was a nightmare.
Kill him already.
What do we do now?
And so few people realize that you dropped the gun right there. And that's one of my favorite things because it's like you're not even concerned with these guys around you. Once you've killed Belisarius, that's it. Weston doesn't care. Like he literally drops the only protection he has against these men who are all aiming guns at him.
Yeah.
I love that touch. And then of course we see the true evil that the Rosary does. Draws anybody. And another great line reading by Tony.
Well, that was interesting.
Wait.
Those dudes just all
Here it
killed
is.
each other. Yeah, I saw. It was crazy.
I love it. I love that line. I love that line.
Cha-ching. You've gotta be kidding me.
And the weakness in this man drove him.
I didn't like anybody touching my gun.
No, as you stated earlier in the movie.
Look at how colorful it is, but it's pretty.
What the hell, Kay?
And this, man, the rocking back and forth. I know I always bring it up to people like, I don't really notice it as much. I had such a nervous energy because of the words I was saying that I didn't realize that I was dancing with Tony. If you watch see, I'm constantly back and forth. Look, watch my hips, like back and forth. And it literally when I watched it back because I didn't want to direct too much of this because I didn't want to fall out of it and I didn't want to kind of lose Kelly and me going, all right, well, let me see what it looks like. So I just essentially let Brian roll and trusted everybody's that was on set's instincts. And actually, Brian Lynch, I have to give Brian Lynch a little bit of a directing credit because Brian Lynch helped direct me through this because he was also on set the same day. The bald gentleman that was in the shot earlier, and so he was helping direct me. But then when we got home and I watched the dailies, I was like, "Why didn't anybody tell me?" I was rocking back and forth like I was doing the waltz. But I think it sells. Actually, I think a part of it kind of works.
It plays a nervous energy. Yeah.
Ah, the hero. And finally, Gwen has to deal with the truth that the man who essentially took her in was really the man that killed her father.
Wait, what?
Brian just figured that out. Yeah, another great moment that was one of those moments that we rehearsed the night before to really get the tone down, and I think both men
This
just
I love.
knocked it out of the
Jake
park.
tried to get the Rosary, but he couldn't because he's been drugged by the tranquilizer. I
Just
love
a
that
little
moment.
much. Just a little much.
That was,
Yeah, there was actually two of those in the original cut. Because the first one was when you walked past me to get your gun, and then the second one was when you walked past me to go. And we cut the first one out because I realized we were dipping that well too many times. Like the first one was me, like and then the second one was this one that's in the movie. But I think that
but
would,
it plays well as the tranquilizer.
and people, some people have asked me, well, Jake, how come the tranquilizer completely knocked out Gwen earlier, but it didn't completely knock out Kelly? And the reason is that I was holding the Skull Rosary of Fro Rango when I was shot with it. Therefore, I was given a little bit of its power. And so despite, obviously it's not a bullet, you know, it didn't do as much damage as it would have had I not been holding the rosary at that time.
I hear you.
See, that's what we call an excuse in the directing world.
that door just looks so inlaid into that wall.
Yep. Yeah, it took a lot.
And it's
to
just leaned
spray
up
paint.
against it.
Yep, it took a lot to spray paint to get the color to match. I went out there like 5 times with just the cans of spray paint and a little bit of caulk and just tried to match as best I could.
I love that no one's taking this needle out of you.
No. You don't want to watch it because it just looks better that way. And there we have it. The heroes ride off into the sunset.
I have to say something about Firefly because Jake turned me on to that, and I think it forced me to watch it before we ever filmed this.
Yeah.
And that was just a great inspiration.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
Starring Tony Wayne.
Jake Lloyd.
Skull Rosary. And
Harlan
this was
Goddamn.
This
Corinne
was
Costello.
one of our, this was
Mike
like the first.
Foster.
This was definitely the first big like adventure style. I had never done really any action before, whatsoever. So this was the first kind of action, the first adventure thing I did. And I think that I'm like, I could not be more proud with the way it turned out for what we had to use to get it done. You know, I mean, it's just one of those things I'm really happy with.
Dave Thomas.
And let's hit production audio team. Look at the very bottom of it. A tree branch.
tree branch.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
Brian Magrum did our audio mix and master. Got to throw out some special thanks to him. Yeah, we had a lot of really great people that helped. This laundry list of people that lent us gear and assistance. And then of course, once this beautiful ending overture wraps, we have our setup. It had power after all. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is such an old trope that I don't think gets used nearly enough in movies anymore.
Will there be a part 2?
Will there be a part 2? That would be fantastic.
Oh, it was a great time.
Yeah,
Yeah, boy, it went fast. The movie goes so fast compared to what we spent so much time out there. And man,
especially what Tony's saying is that the movie's not long enough for his liking.
Yeah, it went so fast. It was such a good time out there. And I think one of the things too is looking back at watching this and with everybody here is that you remember what the vibe was like was so good on set that I think that vibe comes across and it's fun.
Yeah,
it's something fun to
yeah.
watch because we were all having fun and that energy comes across.
Yeah, it was an easy thing to make for as difficult as it was to make. If that makes any sense. As hard as it was to make, it was so easy because I did it with fantastic people, incredibly talented people. And there's the product.
Thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thank you,
you.
especially
Thank you.
to everybody.
Thank you very much for sitting here and watching us. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here. We really appreciate you picking this up. We appreciate you donating if you donated to help us get the movie made. And hopefully we will see you in the very near future. With something
also,
else.
we should mention too about the donations. The people who helped donate when we were making the film, and also to donate for our on Indiegogo for our film festival submission fees. And those of you who don't know, we did end up going to Laughlin's inaugural International Film Festival, and we won Best Short Film.
Yeah, we were also nominated on Long Island for the Long Island International Film Expo for Best Short Film. Out of we were one of 6 nominations out of over 120, I think, 140 some odd films. So, we have had success, and that success we wouldn't have been able to come across without the help of the donors. So we really, we can't thank the donors enough. Once again, my name is Jake Lloyd.
I'm Tony Wayne.
I'm Brian Barrow.
And Kenny Cooper.
Thank you so much for watching.